we've got the miniseries. We're working on writing and development right now. And as of this week, I have at least outline, if not full incomplete drafts. It's still a mess, but the whole story is pretty much laid out from episode 1 to episode 6. And so the next step that I am undertaking is to kind of look at the thing as a whole, all episodes, to see what's missing and what the next writing needs to be. And this is proving very tricky. Because it is, at this stage, it's a bunch of good ideas next to each other, which is better than a bunch of bad ideas next to each other. But, like, there's not a cohesive flow yet, and there is, like, continuity inconsistencies in who appears when and how close of friends they are for how often they appear in the series. There's, like, a best friend character who does not appear at all in any of the scenes, so I maybe have to reconsider whether she's the best friend, and stuff like that. So what I've done, this is the approach I've taken, and here, this is like all new territory for me, so this is just, you can think of this as my experiment. It's definitely not advice, but this is what I've been doing. So I've been going through the episodes and writing down the log line for each scene, like where it takes place, who's in it, and then a one-sentence description of the action, with an eye towards, like, what is the purpose of this scene? Because there are some scenes that have, like, atmosphere for days, but I can put atmosphere into any scene. What I need is, like, what's plot-wise occurring in the scene, and is it necessary that it happens here? And so I can look and see, I've done 3 of the episodes this week, way I've put down on cards of, like, the structure we're going for is opener, act 1, act 2, act 3, closer. And so I do the cards accordingly. And I have different color cards for the A and B stories, which is helping me also see that some episodes, the A and B stories are not clearly defined, and some episodes, they kind of intertwine in a way that it remains to be seen. It might be that's what they need to do, or it might be that that's a mistake. But so I'm laying out these cards, and I physically lay them out on the floor so I can see, like, okay, we have 8 scenes in the pilot, and then we have 22 scenes in episode 3. So, like, something needs to be adjusted for that all to balance. And this is a very, like, I think it's still creative in that it's making decisions about, I don't know. It's still creative, but it's not like imagining scenes. It's more about the methodical work of, like, making the structure work and making everything fit in the right place. So it feels like more of a mathematical problem than a writing problem, but then once the math is solved, it will turn back into a writing problem, if that makes any sense. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh. And I think...
I'm just marveling.
So I'm in the middle of that, and it's hard because once I'm going page by page through the script just to see what's happening, and then it is like I am tempted to dive in and fix things right now while I'm looking at the script. But I think for these purposes, it would be like putting together an IKEA bookshelf, and as you're laying out the pieces, being like, oh, this goes here, let me screw this in for the final screw. So that join will look good, but then it might be misaligned with the rest of everything else. So my instinct is to fix stuff, but I'm shying away from that in order to this is a survey of what we have. And that I don't want to actually make any changes until I can have the whole in front of me. Which is a big job.